The conference room on the 42nd floor overlooked San Francisco's glittering skyline, but Maya Chen barely noticed the view. She was too focused on the tension radiating from across the mahogany table where her fiancé's family sat in judgment. "So, Maya, was it?" Katherine Blackwood's voice dripped with condescension as she examined her manicured nails. "Tell me, what exactly do you do?" Maya exchanged a quick glance with her fiancé, James Blackwood, who squeezed her hand under the table. "I work in technology," she said simply. Katherine's laugh was sharp. "How quaint. James, darling, surely you could have found someone more suitable. Someone from our circles." This was supposed to be a casual family brunch before the wedding next month. Instead, it felt like an interrogation. James's father, Richard, set down his coffee cup with unnecessary force. "Katherine's right. The Blackwood name means something in this city. We can't have just anyone." "Dad, stop," James interrupted, his jaw tight. But Richard continued, his gaze cold as it fixed on Maya. "We've built a real estate empire over 3 generations. What could a tech support worker possibly bring to this family besides embarrassment?" Maya felt the familiar sting of assumption. She'd heard it before. People looked at her modest clothes, her quiet demeanor, her Asian heritage, and made calculations that diminished her to nothing. "She makes me happy," James said firmly. "That's what matters." "Happiness?" Katherine scoffed. "How pedestrian. We're closing the Westbridge development deal next week, a $950 million transaction with Chen Digital Industries. The last thing we need is this, becoming fodder for the society pages." Maya's fingers tightened around her water glass. Chen Digital Industries. Her company. The one she'd founded in her garage 7 years ago and grown into one of the most influential tech conglomerates on the West Coast. "Maybe we should postpone the wedding," Richard suggested, not even looking at Maya. "Give everyone time to reconsider." The room fell silent. Maya watched James's face crumble, saw the hurt in his eyes as he looked between his family and the woman he loved. "No," Maya said quietly, standing up. Every eye turned to her. "We won't be postponing anything. We'll be canceling it." James's face went pale. "Maya, please. Not the wedding, James." She reached for her phone, her voice steady despite the fury burning in her chest. "The Westbridge deal." Katherine laughed. "I'm sorry, what?" Maya pulled up her contacts and dialed. "Robert?" "Yes, it's Maya Chen. I need you to cancel the Blackwood acquisition. Immediately. Yes, all $950 million of it. And draft a statement, we're pursuing other opportunities." The color drained from Richard's face. "What are you?" "Chen Digital Industries was prepared to purchase your Westbridge properties and zone them for our new headquarters campus," Maya said, her voice cutting through the room like ice. "We would have brought 15,000 jobs to this city, revitalized the entire waterfront district, and yes, made your family almost $1 billion in the process." Katherine's mouth opened and closed soundlessly. "But I don't do business with people who measure human worth by their bank statements or their last names." Maya slipped her phone back into her purse. "Robert will send the termination papers this afternoon." "Wait," Richard stood so fast his chair toppled backward. "You can't be, you're the Maya Chen. CEO of Chen Digital? The tech support worker?" Maya's smile was cold. "Yes, that's me." James was staring at her, shock written across his features. "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because I wanted you to love me for who I am, not what I'm worth. I never use my title in my personal life. I wanted something real." She touched his cheek gently. "And we had something real, James. Your family just couldn't see past their own prejudices long enough to recognize it." "Please," Katherine was on her feet now, all pretense of superiority crumbling. Let's discuss this reasonably. We clearly made a mistake. You made a choice, Maya corrected. You chose to judge me, to demean me, to suggest I wasn't good enough for your son without knowing anything about me. That deal represented more than money, it represented trust, partnership, mutual respect. Things you clearly don't value. Richard's hands were shaking. The investors, the contractors, we've made commitments based on this sale. Then I suggest you find another buyer. Quickly. Maya gathered her coat. James, walk me out. In the elevator, descending alone together, James finally spoke. Are you really calling off the wedding? Maya looked at him, really looked at him. She saw the good man she'd fallen in love with, but she also saw the shadow of his family's values in how he'd stayed silent too long, how he'd let them speak to her that way before defending her. I don't know, she admitted. I love you, James. But I need to know that you'll stand with me, not behind me. I need a partner, not someone who lets their family treat me like I'm worthless. They didn't know. They should have treated me with respect regardless of what they knew. She stepped out into the lobby. Think about that. Think about whether you're ready to build a life with someone your family despises, because they won't forgive me for this. And I won't apologize for having self-respect. She left him standing there, walked out into the California sunshine, and didn't look back. 3 weeks later, Maya sat in her corner office, reviewing the proposals for the new headquarters location. Seattle was looking promising. So was Portland. Her assistant knocked. Ms. Chen? There's someone here to see you. James Blackwood. Maya's heart lurched, but she kept her voice steady. Send him in. James looked like he hadn't slept in days. But there was something different about him, a steel in his spine that hadn't been there before. I told them to sell the company, he said without preamble. Maya blinked. What? The real estate business. My inheritance, my trust fund, all of it. I told them to sell and divide it among themselves, because I want no part of a legacy built on looking down at people. He stepped closer. I got a job, Maya. Junior architect at Morrison & Lee. They probably hired me because of my name, but I'm going to prove I deserve it on my own merit. James. You were right. I let them treat you horribly because I was afraid of rocking the boat, afraid of losing my family. But I already lost the only family that mattered, you. His eyes were bright with unshed tears. I don't care about the money. I don't care about the Blackwood name. I care about being the kind of man who deserves you. And if that means starting over from nothing, then that's what I'll do. Maya stood, walked around her desk. You didn't have to do all that. Yes, I did. For me, not just for you. I needed to know who I am without all the trappings, all the assumptions. He took her hands. I'm not asking you to take me back. I'm just asking for a chance to prove that I've learned what you tried to teach me, that who we are matters more than what we have. Maya studied his face, saw the sincerity there, the transformation. The wedding venue is still booked for next month, she said quietly. Hope flickered in his eyes. Is it? I never cancelled it. I was waiting to see if you'd figure out what I already knew, that you're better than the family that raised you. That you just needed to believe it yourself. James pulled her into his arms, and for the first time in 3 weeks, Maya felt something inside her chest unclench. I'm still not reinstating that deal, she murmured against his shoulder. He laughed, the sound watery but genuine. I wouldn't expect you to. They need to learn that actions have consequences. And I need to build something of my own, something I can be proud of. 6 months later, Maya and James cut the ribbon on the new Chen digital headquarters in Portland. The building was stunning, all glass and sustainable design, James's first major project at his new firm. Your family didn't come, Maya observed, watching the crowd gather for the ceremony. They sent a card, James said. It's progress. Katherine actually apologized. Sort of. Sort of. She said she was sorry for any misunderstanding. I told her there was no misunderstanding, she was cruel and elitist, and until she actually admits that, we won't be having Sunday dinners together. Maya squeezed his hand. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of us. He gestured to the building. We built this. Together. Not because of our names or our money, but because we chose to create something meaningful. As the speeches began and the crowd applauded, Maya reflected on how close she'd come to settling for less than she deserved. How easy it would have been to accept the Blackwoods' cruelty, to make herself smaller to fit into their narrow world. Instead, she'd stood up. She'd walked away. And in doing so, she'd given James the push he needed to become the man he was meant to be. The moral wasn't about revenge or proving her worth to people who'd dismissed her. It was about knowing her own value and refusing to compromise it for anyone. And about choosing partners who saw that value from the beginning, or who were brave enough to open their eyes when they'd been blind. As they walked into their future, hand in hand, Maya knew that this was the real success, not the billion-dollar deals or the headlines, but the life they'd chosen together, built on respect, equality, and love.